Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Revival of America podcast. This is Jenny. I am the owner and the host of the Revival of America. Today we have Field Mcconnell in the house, everybody. So please, if you have a question for Field, raise your hand, and I will unmute your mic at some point in this podcast. Or if you can't speak, go ahead and write your comment or question underneath his picture on his book, Field of Honor, with his wife, Denise. And I will read those at some point also in this podcast. Also, to everybody, please be careful who you listen to, who you follow. It is, yeah, I sat in a space yesterday and I think, I don't know, I could see where people can get mentally challenged, right? So it's not healthy. I felt a little bit, yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, what I just listened to. So be careful, everybody. I sit into these spaces or chats or podcasts, whatever they are, and just listen to see what kind of BS they're pushing, and boy, are they pushing some BS. So please, everybody, stick and stay with the 3 to 5 people that haven't led you wrong through the course of your journey here, because more than likely they're going to get you through the hump. And I'm going to give you guys some suggestions, some things to look for. Okay, if you're really confused, you don't know who to trust anymore, any of that stuff, I totally get it. I understand. However, look for consistency in what they speak on, consistency in their guests and what they speak on. If they flip flop going to the next narrative, right? Okay, well, I'm over here with these people, but oh, wait, I'm going to go over here now because this is maybe a better opportunity. Kind of the clout chasers, if you will, right? They're looking to just try to be relevant. We've seen a lot of those through the course of this. We're seeing more, and it's going to get more intense. Okay. Also, too, if they get defensive, if you're not going with their narrative, because of what I'm seeing a lot in a lot of these podcast chats, whatever you want to call them, people asking questions, and if it's not going along with the host or the people's narrative, they're getting defensive, they're shutting them down, and it's absolutely, it's just disgusting, because some of these questions are legitimate questions, logical questions, educational questions, and they're just getting shut down because it doesn't go with their narrative. So watch for those things, everybody, because it's a thing out there. When I say be careful who you listen to, who you follow, it's a thing. It's getting wild. I'm seeing some people that I have even been following now pulling away from Trump and calling him a pedo, which we know that's not true. He is not a pedo, everybody. And this is one of the BS statements that are being put out there. So, and he throws all of his Trump memorabilia away in the trash. And this is all on video, guys. So just be careful who you listen to and who you follow, everybody, because again, like I said, it's a thing. Also, to everybody, if you come into the podcast late or you want to share the podcast with a friend or a family member, please go follow one of my other locations, because apparently on Rumble, and it's not on my end, and I get a lot of messages, well, not a lot, but some messages, and I keep repeating myself. Don't just follow me on Rumble. I'm on YouTube. I'm on all these other places. Go follow those places as well, because if you can't hear it on Rumble, I'm thinking it's something to do with Rumble. From the uploading from me over to Rumble, something happens. But when I listen to it, because I listen to all my replays, all of them I can hear. And the ones that maybe I can't, I'll go and redo it, and then it's fine. But go follow me on some of the other locations that way. So if you can't hear it on Rumble, you can go to YouTube. You can go to the podcast host, whatever. Maybe I post it everywhere, everybody. So don't just stick to Rumble. Go to some of the other locations. And those locations are, the podcast hosts are iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Google, Breaker, PocketCast, Podbean, Riverside, and Amazon Music. Social medias are Jenny JERREAD Facebook, at Jenny_JERREAD X, at JJERREAD True Social, at JJERREAD Instagram, at JJERREAD Rumble, The Revival of America right here on Telegram, The Revival of America on YouTube, and then at the official JJERREAD over on TikTok. Also, too, however, I am in timeout over on YouTube. Go figure. Reminds me of my Facebook jail days. But I'm over in timeout for a couple weeks, so I've probably got one more week of timeout, and I can't post anything over on YouTube. But still, go follow that one, because what I'm finding out is I'm thinking that a lot of times when people are listening to it over on Rumble, and I sent out a question to their support team, you got to check your settings on your phone, iPad, computer, TV, whatever it is you're listening on. it might be on your end. Okay. So please, I don't need your messages, or I got tired of it, I'm not following you anymore, listening to your stuff. Fine, don't follow me. I don't care. I'm not looking for the followers. If you follow me, great. I'm just looking to get out the message, and you're putting out the message. But you know what? Listen, have a little bit of grace, because I'm doing this in my free time because I have a day gig. I don't get paid to do this. I'm bringing it to you guys for free. So, I don't have to do this. So me, guys, I don't deal with bullshit. I don't deal with the bitching. I will mute that shit. Okay. Because I don't have time for it. We've got other shit to worry about than trying to figure out why it's not coming through Rumble. There's other locations that you can listen to me on. So please go follow those so you can hear the show. I'm not just on Rumble. So I had to say that because it's irritating. And you get a lot of people out there just so disrespectful and not appreciative. And you know what? I don't deal with people like that. Like, don't follow me. Don't listen to my shows. Not My feelings aren't hurt, but I'm going to address it because these are the suggestions that I can tell you to do to check when you go into your Rumble, to check your settings. Because a lot of times people do that and they're like, oh, okay, it works now. There you go. Also, too, everybody, check out the website. It's therevivalofamerica.com. Please fill out the information for the newsletter. It is free. You'll get the lineup of the shows every week and the latest updates on the podcast. And then we've got a page on there for Fields, the children, John Baxter, Carrie, Rick Anson from Brain IQ Health. And then there's a little snippet of, about me and where I came up, with the podcast. We're also going to try to add a weekly newsletter. So good stuff over there. It's a work in progress. It's new and improved. We updated it a little bit, so that's good. Also, too, if you guys have a question for me regarding Field's books, John Baxter's information, a personal question, whatever it may be, email me at therevivalofamerica@yahoo.com, and I will get you in touch with John if you're looking to purchase Field's books, because Field's books are out and about, everybody, for you guys to purchase. He has decided to make them, mass produce them for you guys to purchase. And many of you have received them and are super excited about it. So I'm glad to hear that. Thank you guys for your responses, or not responses, but just letting me know that you did get them and you're excited to start reading them. So they are a national treasure, everybody, just like Field. So if you haven't purchased any, I highly suggest them. They are in paperback right now, so you can get a set of 4, or you can get just an individual book, and the links are on the board underneath his other picture where you can do the questions. So, and then if you want to get in touch with John Baxter will be back today, everybody. He's going to be the podcast here after Field, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Reach out to me again at therevivalofamerica@yahoo.com. And then for those of you that have a story or a journey to tell and want to get your voices and story onto the podcast, please submit your story to troasubmissions@yahoo.com. We will vet these stories, everybody, because unfortunately we have shysters that want to just be, relevant, making up bullshit stories. So we'll read it. Just give me a little synopsis. We'll read it. We'll reach out to you if we think it's legit, and then we will schedule you for the shows. And bear with me, everybody. Like I said, I have a day job, so I'm busy doing that. So I come and do this on my free time. So if I don't get to your emails, or if you've sent me DMs, give me some time, because again, I'm a one-man show, and it's, I'm trying to do my best here to catch up on all of this stuff, but there's only so many hours in a day, and I just need more hours in that day. So with that, everybody, I appreciate you being here. Field is in the house. We're not going to take too much more time of my PSAs, and I apologize that I have to do these, everybody, because I'm looking out for you guys also, and my channel as well, because there's a lot of shysters out there, and they're taking people for their livelihood. So just be careful, everybody. If somebody reaches out to you claiming to be me, know that it is not me. I will not randomly reach out to you and ask you questions about the scare event, financials, crypto, anything like that. So just block, report them. Let me know so I can make sure they're not here in my channel. And hopefully here within the next week or so, guys, we will be bringing some of my guests on and doing video podcasts. I've been setting that up over the weekend, learning more about it. And so hopefully we can get that set up for like the Wands of the world, the Derek Johnsons, and Field wants to do one here and there. So we'll get that going as well here probably within the next week or so. And then also to it's 5:00 somewhere with the Revival of America. That's going to be my monthly podcast. We're going to launch that. And basically, it's going to be myself and a guest, one of my guests, that you guys are going to get to come in and ask questions just on a, get to know us on a personal level. You know that we are people just like you, and you're going to get to know us more on a personal level than just kind of like the typical podcast that we do here. So look for that, everybody. I'll keep you posted. And without further ado, as SG always says, welcome, Field. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm fine, but you surprised me, and I just spilled some coffee on my shirt. But that's okay because I got a bunch of laundry to do, and this shirt will be in the laundry as soon as you and I both wrap this broadcast up. But I have great respect for you, and I have some sympathy for you too. If there's anybody criticizing you, just keep in mind that's on them, not on you. And I look forward to your video cast. In fact, in that light, I just had a haircut about 45 minutes or an hour ago. And so I'm ready to go on video if you run out of other willing volunteers. But I love your chat room. And that sounds like just a empty statement. Yesterday, I was talking to a lady who found me on Jenny's show. And she probably won't be here today because she has a day gig just like Jenny. But she's going to be on Rumble tonight. But having heard the comments about Rumble, I'm going to send that young lady, and she's young, she's only 51. And, that's jailbait to me. Not really, because I don't bite. I don't even bite on lures. But I think that we are going to grow in numbers. According to what I've heard from Jenny, she's got 100 countries listening to her feed. And I'm not a chat room type person. I don't visit any other chats except for Jenny's, like today. But let me give you a compliment, and this is not just to Jenny, but it's to all the people that are tuned in right now. I talked to this lady, and I'm going to use the name San Diego because she'll recognize that. No, I'm talking about her. But I was mentioning to her that sometimes people are critical of either me, which is fine. Go ahead, be critical of me. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to change. Now, if 80% of you are critical of me, I'll change in a heartbeat. But I've been involved with this movement, which reminds me, I don't know if I had a movement today, but I'll worry about that after the show. I've been involved in this type of stuff for 24 years, and I've never had as much confidence in any host or someone who invites me as I have for Jenny. I have a great deal of confidence in Jenny, and I doubt if she will ever disappoint me. But if she does, she knows how to mute me. So it would be not a problem for me. My ego's not in this, and that's exactly why, Jenny, I often recommend we go to questions and answers, and for a very simple reason. As I told this agent San Diego last night in a marathon phone conversation, the reason I like questions and answers is that should be proof positive that neither Jenny nor I have a narrative to spin. Because if the questions are mostly from the audience, then there's no way I would know what question is coming next. And I enjoy the academic stimulation of my gray matter. And that's how I learn stuff. I don't learn stuff by repeating things that I've talked about 337.56 times before. But if somebody in the chat room asks me a stimulating question and I don't know the answer, then I may learn something in that evolution. So without sounding like a geriatric windbag, because I'm not a geriatric yet, I don't turn 76 until October 2nd, which I think is a Thursday. So I'll turn it back over to Jenny and say, thank you all for supporting Jenny's uh, not broadcast, podcast. But when I say supporting, I don't mean with money or information. I mean by showing up and being boots on the ground or, derrieres on the chair. And so without further ado, Jenny, over to you. What would you like to talk about?
Thank you, Field. Yeah, no, well, it's just I get more compliments than I do negativity, but it's those one twosies, little negative ones, right? That just are the nonstop complainers, and it's just annoying, right? Because like I said, we do this in our free time, myself and all of my guests. So the complaining like that just blows my mind. Like, and instead of being like, oh, thank you, but it is what it is. But I'm just suggesting everybody go follow me on a different one of my locations that I'm on. Then that way, hopefully, if you can't listen to it on Rumble, you'll be able to listen to it on over at one of those different locations. So, Field, we know September 11th is coming up this week, and I sent you over that Kurt Weldon and Tucker Carlson video interview. Did you get a chance to listen to that?
Yes, I did. And I sent you a message, which you may not have a chance, or maybe you don't even read my messages, although I
No, I
think you
read him.
do.
I just haven't. Did you
No,
send
I
them to me
know,
this
I'm
morning?
kidding. Either this morning or last night, but and I think it might have been last night because I listened to the Kurt Weldon Tucker Carlson thing, and I thought it was extremely educational. But I also scrolled down and I found that they had an interview of me that was tied to their broadcast, and the corporate name of the people interviewing me back in 2011 was Psych Truth. Now, I'm going to make a very bold statement that will surprise some people. I personally don't know how to spell psych. I know how to spell truth, but when I listened to maybe 3 minutes of the interview, maybe it was more like 15 minutes because it was, even though it was me, I was the guy being interviewed. I thought it was very well done, and I was given good questions, not in advance. I don't work that way. I like to be blindsided with questions. That way I can occasionally say, I don't know, but in 10 minutes I'll know because I have some sources where I can go to them and get an answer fairly quick, or poor grammar, fairly quickly. So, no, it's my great distinct pleasure to be a regular on your podcast every week. And, without wasting more of your time or my time or the audience's time, what would you like to do next? And yes, I did listen to Tucker Carlson and Kurt Weldon, and I think Kurt's name starts with a C, not a K. But anyway, over to you.
Well, they're about to release a 5-part series. He and Kurt Weldon and Tucker on 9/11 this week. So that might be something you and everybody here might be interested in listening to. It's very interesting to me to still hear people talk about how they saw the planes hit the building. That just blows my mind about people saying, I saw the planes hit the building when there were no planes.
Yeah, well, that's because people think if they see it on TV, it's got to be true. And if you see it on TV or hear it on the radio, it's more likely to be the media playing tricks on your brain. And so if
Well,
you
no.
want truth, go
These are
ahead.
people. These are people feel that say that they were there on ground and saw planes hit the building. That's what's blowing my mind. I'm like, what crack were you smoking, Hunter Biden?
Well, what hit the buildings in no case could have been airliners. Okay. And I'm saying that as somebody that flew airliners for 31 years. Uh, yeah, an airliner can be hijacked and hit the building, but that didn't occur on 9/11. What occurred on 9/11, and I know for sure what occurred, and I broadcast it at noon on 9/11, because I recognize the behavior of the droned airline size and airline models that had no passengers and no pilots. And the drones were controlled by what is wrongfully called the Boeing uninterruptible autopilot. And that's because General Electric created those autopilots, and they were a contractor to Boeing. And I don't think Boeing knew for sure what they were getting, but I am very confident that the CEO of General Electric at the time, whose name was Jeffrey Immelt, Immelt, I think he knew what he was doing, whatever that is. I'll leave that for a later JENNI show. But Jeffrey Immelt, Immelt, Jeffrey Immelt at that time had $275 million of corporate insurance taking care of his wife and family, if any. Of course, now in this time, I'd have to be more politically correct in saying his spouse and family, because just like Obama, whose name is not Obama, it's Barry Soetoro, Obama talks about his wife, Michelle. Well, his wife, Michelle, is not a female, and it's Michael Yvonne Robinson. And the truth hurts. And yet I've had my Obama or Barry Soetoro hearse for 15 years, and it's never been harmed by somebody that doesn't like my story of the truth. And most people don't recognize the name of Barry Soetoro. And that's probably why my hearse has never been defaced. But Barry Soetoro is the real name of the person that was not only not an American, but he was a male prostitute when he went to my high school, Punahou. And, most of the people in America, whether they watch TV and pro sports or if they're serious, they really don't know much about Barack Obama, or which, by the way, my own sister, who's now deceased, my own sister gave him that identity in his false passport in 1994. So I didn't fall off a vegetable truck, and I don't wear a tin hat. I'm just very closely related to the events of 9/11 and the corruption by the deep state of the American government. Okay, Windbag's going to be quiet now. Over to you, JENNI.
Thank you, Fields. All right, everybody. If you guys have questions for Fields, please feel free to raise your hand. I will call on you, and you can ask your question to Fields or write your question underneath the comment section where you see he and his wife, Denise, on the book. So, Redbird, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Go
Hi,
ahead.
thank you. I just want to, I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to say thank you, Field. I truly love you and have prayed for you all these years. You opened my eyes. And I'd like to say to you, Janine, that, I let people know that I do have a heart problem. I turn to you every time I really want to know what's going on. I feel like you've always been a straight shooter. You seem to, there's so much confusion out there for me. I don't get to see a lot. And then when you do get on, it's like, oh my God, just everything is upside down and backwards. And as for the planes, all I have to say is, has anyone ever seen a bird hit a plane? End of story. I don't know how anybody ever bought that. But I'm truly grateful for you, all you do, this program. I'm looking forward to the fact that there'll be video. And God bless you, Field. I pray for you every day. And thank you for waking me up with your pink shorts and your great dance. And God bless.
Oh, yes. Well, yes. And when I got arrested on the 4th of November of 2019, I lost custody of my pink shorts. And I have an idea. They're on my farm here. I live in rural Wisconsin near Plum City, and I'm on 100 acres. And knowing how fastidious and professional and loving my wife Denise was, I presume a lot of the things that I think are lost are somewhere in my property. And I won't be any more specific than that, but I think I know which building to look into. But, it's really hard for me because, the property that I lost, and some of it was not irreplaceable, but it's very special to me. The only thing that I lost that cannot be replaced is my wife, Denise Irene Clark, and then later, after we were married, Denise Irene Clark Mcconnell. And I don't really appreciate that the 17th district of the Florida court system denied my request to come home and say goodbye to Denise when I knew she was terminal. And the judge, and some people would be afraid to name judges' names. I'm not. Dan Casey, 17th District Court of Florida. Dan Casey denied me permission to go home and say nice things to my wife
I'm
and
so
maybe
sorry.
kiss her cheek. No, it's okay. I mean, that's the
It's
world
not
we've lived
okay.
in.
It's
No,
not okay.
but let me finish. It was okay then because we were not a constitutional republic. But Dan Casey and the Florida governor Rick DeSantis, or no, Ron DeSantis, uh, and the Wisconsin governor, who's not running for reelection because I sort of put the fear of God in him, and I'm writing a book. It's going to be autobiography. It's going to be a biography of me that I'm writing myself, but more importantly, it's going to be a very accurate biography of Denise Irene Clark Mcconnell. And I want to show these people, meaning the governor of Florida, the governor of Wisconsin, and Dan Casey, the judge who wouldn't let me come home. And yet, uh, I don't know why in the world he was thinking that I would be a flight risk because I flew for 38 years and I never scratched an airplane. I never injured a passenger and I never got scared of the weather. So I think that judge is probably going to find a new line of work because now the entire uh, Justice Department in the U.S. is part of the constitutional republic, no longer part of the admiralty law and maritime law that ruled the United States of America since 1871, when the Organic Act of 1871 was published and put into control. And it stayed that way until the election of Donald Trump on the 5th of November of 2024. And yet it was not until uh, sometime in very early February that we became under the rule of a constitutional court system. And I'm not political. If Mickey Rooney had won the election, and regardless of what his background was, I'd be loyal to him. I'm loyal to the truth. Jesus Christ is the truth, and he says so. Uh, he says, I am the way, the truth, and uh,
Life.
I am the way. Okay, say it again. Life?
Life. I'm the way, the truth, and the life.
Yeah. And no one gets to the Father except through me.
Amen.
Amen. And, if I were not turning 76 in a month, I might, want to change gears and be a full-time educator on Christian truth. But there's so many part-time people that are not educating. They're just, you see, how is it that we have one Jesus and yet in the United States we have probably 50 different types of religion. The truth is the truth, and the truth will set us free, and the truth has set me free. And I like your comments, young lady, because when somebody is honest and somebody respects God and somebody is aware of the commandments, then they attract other people that like to feed on the truth. And last night, I spent about an hour and a half talking to Agent San Diego. And the previous evening, I spent about an hour and a half talking to an agent that I'm going to call Pell Mell. That's like those cigarettes that are bad for you. Not because tobacco is bad. Tobacco is natural, but the chemicals they put in the cigarettes, that's what causes the problems. Well, enough rambling on my part. And I know you're sort of short of time, young lady, but thank you for your kind comments and keep listening to Jenny, and you will never be misled. Over to you.
Thank you, Field.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Redbird.
Thanks.
All right, here's a question for you, Field, from Cali Chick. Thank you, Field and Jenny, for bringing the truth. Field, any comments? We were talking about this, and I think you sent me something about Venezuela because I was going to ask you about this. Any comments, Field, on the Venezuela and the left's repetitive narrative? It's oil, oil, oil. We are trying to steal oil.
I don't think the United States steals anything from anybody, and especially under Donald Trump, because he wrote a book called The Art of the Deal, and he's proven many times over to my satisfaction that he is a very artful dealer. But just specifically about Venezuela and their aggression towards the U.S. Navy, I used to fly F-16s from 1990 to 1993 when I was at the North Dakota Air National Guard. And the F-16s of any generation are no match for the Navy. And I'm going to put out some information right now that if anybody in Venezuela is listening to this podcast, either live or recorded, there is a technology called pinwheel where there might be 5 or 6 identical looking airframes, and they could be F-16s, they could be F-15s, they couldn't be F-22s because there's not enough of those. They could be F-35s. And if there were 6 of them visible, 5 of them would be controlled by remote control, and there'd be a human in one of the 6 airplanes, and it might be called Operation Pinwheel, and they might form a protective barrier, bar cap. A bar cap means Barrier Combat Air Patrol. And the Venezuelans, I don't know much about their military. I know a fair amount about F-16s because I flew them. But if they took all the F-16s they own and tried to penetrate a 350 nautical mile bar cap, combat air patrol, they might lose all their F-16s because Donald Trump has an expression, FAFO. And so I, as Field Mcconnell, am pleading with the government of Venezuela not to put their own F-16 pilots at risk in a battle they cannot win. Is that sufficient, Jenny? Do you think I said that well enough, or do you think those people are still going to try to attack the U.S. Navy?
You did great, Field. It could be intimidation. I did listen to something this morning and heard that some of these pilots are trying to flee to the United States for asylum because they know what's about to happen. So again, I guess, we're going to watch and see what happens. But I do think, and Juan has mentioned that this is a big week, everybody. He is actually going to be on my show on Friday. So hopefully he'll be able to elaborate a little bit more on that. But I don't know. I think, I don't know. I think we're in it, Field. This is the week of 9/11. I do think we're going to start seeing it. So whatever Juan is referring to this week, supposedly this week is supposed to be a big week. So Whatever that may be, we'll hopefully find out, maybe with Juan on Friday when he comes on. But yes, you did a great job, Field, in answering that question. Thank you. All right,
You're very
Curly,
welcome.
go ahead, Curly. Go ahead, Carol. Your mic is unmuted.
Thank you, Jenny. I just, for those on the chat and for Field, I just wanted to say that my avatar name was Colorado Carol, and I changed it to Curly because that's been my nickname all my life, given to me by my older sister who died from COVID. Anyhow, um, Field, in the past, I'm not sure how to word this because I don't want to put you on the spot, but
Oh no, put me on the spot. I love being on the spot. Go ahead.
I'm sure you've been put on the spot many times, but in the most recent past, you have mentioned your sister and you didn't know if she was dead or alive. Now, in your beginning story here, you said that she was deceased. Ha- Is she deceased? Did she go to Gitmo, hopefully with Hillary? And they were executed. I'm sorry to say that about your sister, but we all have those kind of people in our life that are evil. And did you find new information about that? That's what I'm trying to find out.
Okay, but Jenny, is her volume sufficient for you or is her volume low?
No, I hear her fine. So, Field, touch on her avatar. You may have to turn her volume up or turn your volume up on your phone, whichever one.
Oh, I turned my volume all the way up. But
So touch.
maybe
So
she can.
no. So you're gonna have to adjust the volume. So touch on Curly. So click on that, and you'll see 100%. You see where the volume is.
Okay, well, I'm multitasking and I'm down past
She's
well,
right
I can't.
underneath. She's right underneath you.
Oh, she's underneath me?
Yeah, Curly is her name on here. The yellow. She's got
Okay.
Curly. So touch on that, and then
Yeah,
at
I
the top,
just did that. Then what do I do next?
you see where it says 100% or the percentage right there, the volume. Touch on that and crank her up.
Okay, I gotta put my glasses on because besides not hearing, I also can't see. Uh,
Just touch on that and it will increase her volume.
okay.
Is it working? Say something, Carol.
Well, how are you today?
You're a little muffled right there, Carol. You might have to go closer to your microphone.
Is this better?
There you go. Does she sound better to you, Field?
No, I'm getting lost in technology, but no, she's not sounding better to me. But Jenny, what button would you like me to push next to try to get her volume up?
She's basically wanting to know about Hillary and your sister, how you have spoke on them potentially being executed. Do you know that to be true? Or do you know is that like a for sure thing?
No, it's not. But if I were gonna think I could find the sure thing, just as a private citizen, I would go to that uh, there's a website that talks about, well, it monitors the executions, like it monitored the execution of Mike Pence in March of this year. But I'm convinced my sister is gone because she tried to reconcile with me in January of 2024. And I told her, I said, Christine, there's no reconciliation for you and I. You were disrespectful to our mother. You were disrespectful to our father. you were disrespectful to me, and the only legitimate comment you made about why you disrespect your father, your mother, and your only sibling is because we were all loyal military members that entered, well, my mom and dad entered the military right after Pearl Harbor, and I entered the military on 28 June of 67 at the height of the Vietnam War, and I wanted to go to Vietnam and get that thing over with. And my mother talked me out of it. She said, "Don't go over as a helicopter pilot in the Army. Go to college for 4 years and then become an Air Force, Marine, or Navy fighter pilot because they're air conditioned and they move a lot faster and they're hard to shoot down." But I still have low volume, so maybe it's at my end.
Yeah, it's on your end. So, yeah, that's all I can say. Either turn your phone up or you're going to have to touch on Carol's avatar and just crank up her volume right there where you see it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's not very good, but I can hear you. So maybe we should let Curly go unless she has more questions she could ask through you. I'm not being pushy. I'm just dealing with technology issues.
Carol, do you have any more questions that you want to ask, Field?
Yes, I would like to know that website that monitors the executions. It could be given to me.
Jenny, what did she say?
She wants to know the website, that if you could give her the website where she could find that out that you just spoke about.
Well, I don't know it because I look at a lot of websites, but I think it might have been Real Raw News. But I'm sure somebody in your audience knows the website that publishes the executions of traitors to America. And that's what my sister was, past tense. She was, well, I think I told you the story before, as well as your listeners on whatever show it was, Jenny, that I was in a court setting in Plum City in probably 2017, I'm guessing. And the judge on the bench that day was a pedophile. And he asked a question to the 12 of us in the jury box. He said, "Do any of you 12 in the jury box have a personal history with pedophilia?" And I tried to look as nervous as I could because I was in the Marine Corps. Marines really don't get nervous, they just get active. So I started looking like I was afraid to tell the truth, but I was raising my hand partially and then pulling it down. And after about 3 cycles of that, the judge, who was a pedophile, and notice I didn't say what court he was with or what city he was in. He knows I'm talking about him because there was a time back in 2017, 2018, 2019 that people, or not, these guys are not people, they're animals, but 5 pedophile judges wanted to kick me off my land and take over my 5-bedroom house as a weekend retreat for underprivileged youth. And I told them on a live broadcast, and I don't remember if it was on one of yours, Jenny, or somebody else's back before I met you, but I said, if any of you 5 judges that want my property to be a brothel for underage children, you need to get some police officials to protect you when you come on my property. And you'd be very wise to get the Wisconsin National Guard infantry group to protect you, because I'm a United States Marine. I'm no longer on active duty, but once you take an oath, if you don't violate the oath, you're still restricted to the tenets of the oath. That's TENETS. And so I said, uh, I have ways to defend myself, and I'm not going to tell you what they are, but you'll find out what they are as soon as you try to come up my half mile long way driveway. And the judge, when he saw me trying to raise my hand, he said, Mr. Mcconnell, you have a personal history with pedophilia? I said, yes, Judge. I didn't say Your Honor, because I'm not going to honor these guys. Uh, I said, yes, Judge. My sister and Hillary Clinton run both Pedogate and Pizzagate, the two biggest international child trafficking mechanisms in the world. And he put his hands over his ears and he said, too much information, you're excused. And so I'm not going to say what TF stands for, but that pedophile judge got TF'd by a straight shooter that doesn't like child traffickers. And I've exposed as many as I can find. And some of the people involved in treason to America and global child trafficking include George H.W. Bush, executed, lethal injection, Senator John McCain, executed, 2 pistol shots to the left temple, Hillary Clinton, I believe she was hung years ago, like maybe 3 years ago. And there's people wearing a mask and trying to appear like they are Hillary Clinton. I don't know if they are or not, but I believe she was executed. And my own sister was executed, I believe, in January of 2024 after I hung up on her when she was trying to get me to reconcile with her. You don't put your parents at risk. You don't put your brother at risk and then think he's going to forgive you. No, I think she needed to be executed, and I made that very clear to Trump's white hats. Over to you, Jenny.
Thank you, Field. Appreciate that. Thank you, Carol, for your question. Okay, Field, so let's talk about this. So we know, have you been paying attention to, well, first of all, let's talk about Trump is getting ready to send National Guard into Chicago, which is huge. What are your thoughts on that? I think it's, here we go, everybody. Brace yourselves. I think this is going to be bumpy, but it's going to be a great thing. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm having trouble hearing even you, so it
Okay,
must
Field,
be my
do me
phone. Do
yeah,
you think
Field,
if I turn my phone off and come back, it'll be better?
yes, Field, go out and come back in.
Okay, I'll report when I'm back in. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in a minute. All right, everybody, we'll get Field back in here. Yeah, go out and come back in, Field. You're still here. You got to hit the leave button. Just don't exit. Don't end the chat. Just hit the leave button.
Okay, but I'm still here. I know that. And if you will just give me a chance to find the leave button, I will leave.
It's
But I can
down.
only do one thing at a time, so let me leave. Okay?
Do you see the leave button, Field? It's
Yeah,
at the.
I already pushed it.
Yeah, you're still here.
Yeah, I know that. And I'm getting frustrated just like you are.
You may have to totally shut down your phone completely and then turn it back
Okay?
on and then re-enter.
Okay.
Try that.
Okay, just pretend like I don't exist and I'll leave and re-enter if no, I mean you don't need to cheat your audience out of stuff because I'm incompetent. Let me work on leaving and re-entering and we'll see where it goes if I succeed.
You're good, Field. Take your time. You're good. All right, everybody. So if you have questions for Field regarding the topics that we're talking about today, please feel free to raise your hand. I will unmute your mic and you can ask Field your question. Or if you cannot speak, please write your questions on the board underneath. There's a couple pictures, one for the books, or there's one where I say leave your comments here. Either one, I'm reading both. So also too, everybody, like I said, Juan, we're going to be trying to get Juan here on the show on Friday. Got a lot of great stuff coming up. Next week's going to be a busy week too. This week, Carrie Kasem won't be here. She is in Portugal for a photo shoot. But we will have Troy, everything XRP on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Then we'll have Dallas, his usual every 2 weeks, everything RV news. Then we'll have Silk over on my X Space at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, so tomorrow we're going to have in Carrie's space, we're going to have Rick Anson with Brain IQ Health, all natural supplements made from hemp. And then also too, he we're going to be going over the Maha report that he was given by the Maha team. I don't know if you guys heard it last week, but his partner that's been with the company, he's going to talk about it tomorrow, is now going to kind of probably still be with Rick a little bit, but he's going to be with the Maha with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So he's going to be working real closely with the group over there at Maha, which is huge. I'm super excited about that, guys, because we have these people here at our fingertips, right? And his partner, I think his name is Fod, had dinner with RFK Jr. here. I think a couple weeks ago. He talked about it last week on the show. So he's going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow. He's going to break down the Maha report and then talk a little bit more. There's a lot of questions coming in about the GLP-1 fast melts that he has. That's the all natural of the Ozempic. The Ozempic, we are hearing bad stuff that is happening to people, and he's getting a lot of testimonials with people that are on that Ozempic type drug. A lot of negative stuff. So if you are on that and you want something alternative, you might want to listen to this, because these stories are actually pretty scary when it comes to this Ozempic and what it's doing to people. So pretty deep stuff. So that'll be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, too, everybody, if you guys, like I said, many of you have asked me about the books. They are available. They're just not ready yet in hardback, because we don't have a lot of requests for the hardbacks yet. I do have the paperbacks available. You can buy them in the set of 4 or individually. The information's on the wall. Again, I hope all of you guys that have purchased them love them as much as I have. He's going to be writing that 5th book to this series, The War Bride, right? And hopefully we'll have that out in time. He'll have that out in time for the Christmas holidays. So that information too, everybody, is on the wall. And then we'll sit here and just wait. But if you guys have a question for me in the meantime, or, Fields, whatever, feel free to raise your hand. We can chat here a little bit until he gets back. I think he's going to be popping in here momentarily. But Grace, I'm going to unmute your mic. Go ahead. Grace, do you have a question for myself, or did you want to wait for Field to get back?
Hey, Jenny. No, I was going to ask Field his opinion on something. I can ask you for your opinion on it too while we're
Sure, go
waiting on
ahead.
Field. Okay. So I wanted y'all's opinion on why. I have my own, but I want your and Field's opinion on why President Trump and Melania had Bill Gates sitting to the left of Melania and Mark Zuckerberg sitting to the right of President Trump at the tech meeting. Just wanted y'all's opinions on that. Thank you.
Yeah, no. I got you. There's a lot of that going around right now, and I've had that asked to me a lot over the weekend, and I was in some chats talking about it. So I think what everybody needs to do, okay, so go back to Trump. He put out a True Social about a week ago, I think, in regards to he's demanding the truth about these jabs, right? He's heard that some people say they're good and some people don't agree that they're bad, right? And he wants the truth and basically wants it now. Obviously, it was a little bit more detailed than that, but you have him putting that post out. You guys got to remember, we're in war, right? The art of war. We're watching that play out as we speak under our noses. So then you have RFK Jr. annihilate the Senate, basically calling out all the people that had their hands in the cookie jar and the money that they received from basically they got paid to play the nefarious stuff, right? He called them out. They tried to flip the script on him, and he just kept coming back with them with facts, right? He destroyed him. Then you have Trump having dinner with the two people that censored us, anything about COVID, encourage people to get the COVID shot, la la la, and then you have Bill Gates over here creating it, right? Trump is telling you, you guys have to remember, you don't give your enemy your next move. So he's not going to forecast that. He's already said that. By him having there at the table, he's showing everybody who is in charge. He's basically saying, when he says, I have it all, we've caught them all. He's got it all, everybody. I believe, too, with this Epstein list, he's using it as leverage. We've seen these two individuals on this list, right? So it's no different than he's done with the sanctimonious, new scum, all that stuff. Shines the light, right? Brings the dark to the light. These people, they're exposing themselves, right? Because we know what Bill Gates is all about. So I think everybody just take a deep breath. Know it is it's an amazing thing to watch. People are losing their minds over it. They're just thinking, no different than he did with the whole Stargate thing when he first came into office. All those techies with AI, people were freaking out about it. Well, listen, do you want Russia? Do you want China? Or do you want the United States to have control of AI? We want the United States to have control of the AI, because if we don't, then it's man against the machine and we're done. So, and if you look into all three of those individuals that he pulled up to the podium there, they all have nefarious ties to them, connected to them. So it's a lot deeper than what people are even going to. A lot of people are just staying on the surface shit. And I'm going to say shit because that's what it is. They don't go deep enough to figure out what's really going on. But these people are nefarious. And it's just Trump is showing you who's in charge. I'm the master. These are my puppeteers. I'm the master puppet, and these are my little puppeteers. So I mean, it's just brilliant watching this unfold in front of us, everybody. I mean, a lot of people are missing the greatest time to be alive. And that is my opinion, what I think is going on. I've had a lot of people say the same thing. So yeah, that's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it because it would make no sense him having a friendly dinner with these two pieces of shits that have done nothing but harm to all of us. So it's very methodical, everybody, strategic, but we are at war. You got to look weak when you're strong. And Trump, it's like Juan said, all the comms are there. Look at the comms. So get excited about that because Trump is telling you who's in charge, basically. That's what I believe.
Thank you, Jenny. I had a lot of people asking me this question over the weekend, and I basically told them that, but a lot of people were really upset about it, actually. I wasn't. I knew it was, I thought it was masterful because he is the art of war and he does play 5D chess and he is sticking them out there like little roaches to shine the light. But so many people got their panties in a wad about it. I just wanted to know what y'all thought. So thank you so much for that input. Great job as always. And God bless you. And thank you for all that you do for us.
Thank you, Grace. Glad to see you here again. And yes, everybody, I get people will be upset about it, because one, they're probably not doing the research. They're not getting a lot of the stuff that we're getting. They're on the surface, right? They don't know what we talk about or how we research or whatever. They don't see that. So I can see the everyday person kind of seeing that and not getting it. But again, that's what we're going to be here for, everybody. We are that calm in that storm because people really are going to lose their minds. I mean, when they say that 4 to 6% people literally are not going to survive this, that's a thing because they can't handle stuff like that, which I get. Or that Obama is truly Barry Soetoro and he's like Field says he's gay, whatever, and then he was the bad president that he was. He did all the shit to children. They're gonna lose their minds. So I think, and for me, what I have a problem with is a lot of these fake influencers, podcasters out there sowing that division, pushing this narrative as if yeah, be mad. They shouldn't be sitting down together. Look deeper into it. Get off the surface stuff. And that's why I say stay out of the noise, everybody. If you can't handle it in your mind wise, get out of the chats, get out of the comments, get out of the podcast. Don't listen to it because, like I said, I sit in some of these and I sat in one last night and I told Alpha Warrior, I was like, I just got really mind screwed listening to that, and I just got dumber listening to it, right? So, but I can sit here and laugh about it now. Yes, last night I was like shaking my head, like, damn, like I don't get that like feeling of holy like anxiety, if you will. I never had that, right? So it's intense, everybody, because the misinformation and disinformation that they're pushing is wow. I mean, it is on a different level, guys. So just please be careful with your mind. And I'll continue to listen to these things for you. So I can come in and tell you to what to watch for and not listen to, because there's so much of it out there. And I think the biggest thing is if you don't know who to follow, to just follow Donald Trump over on True Social, because he is posting like crazy, and he's telling us without telling us. You have so many people out there doing the flip flops, going to different I don't know, the next best thing, if you will. And then you got to look at the people that they're around. If the people that they're around support that kind of behavior, that's a big question mark too. So just stand back, kind of reanalyze and figure out who you're following, and just be careful, everybody, because it's a thing out there. So, El Capitan, I'm going to unmute your mic. Go ahead. Go for it. Your mic's unmuted. Go ahead, El Capitan. Your mic's unmuted. Can you guys hear me? Field's not back in here either. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, I didn't hear the part where we were closing her chat so I could hear out of mine. Sorry, Jenny.
Oh, you're
Hey,
good.
sorry. Hey, I don't know if you caught it last night, but the truth, the Justice Cometh on X had a great presentation about Scott Pressler, and basically dove into his PAC and the alleged shell companies that are supporting it. Amazing evidence. And there's so many things that are happening now. You got Liz Crokin. She got invited by Joe Rogan to come on his podcast. So that's a huge platform for her. Still waiting on the mainstream media, Rockefeller Media's apology to her. I won't be holding my breath. And just amazing things. We ended up having Jan Halper Hayes on a debate that I got involved in because of Scott Pressler. This young lady, Aubrey, on X, she was arguing with Mark Cook. Now, I know Mark Cook's evidence ever since I met him at an election integrity conference back in October, I think, of 22. And I got involved because she just mentioned, I think, I'm not quoting it, but basically, people that are in election integrity know how good your work is, Scott Pressler, something like that. And I'm like, no, he's a paid shill. And we just got into a big old X argument. And I was like, well, let's do a live debate with you and Mark Cook. So we did. And Jan Halper Hayes actually agreed to moderate the debate. And it was interesting. I mean, a lot of good truths, but unfortunately, the one individual just couldn't abide by the moderator and kind of disrespected Dr. Jan. But there's so many
Go
things that are
figure.
coming out. And
Yeah.
I know when you got RFK Jr., conspiracy theorist, Laura Logan, conspiracy
Well,
theorist. Why?
real
Because she thinks
quickly,
the elections are stolen.
real quickly, El Capitan. Field just
Yeah.
popped back into the chat, so I
Oh,
want to
I'm out
continue
then.
with him. Thank
Yes,
you
ma'am.
for coming up.
Love you.
Love you too. All right, Field, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now, but I had to jump through all sorts of hoops. And
Well, I'm proud of you. You figured it out.
yeah, I did. I tried to undo everything I could undo. And strangely enough, the one thing that gave me the most trouble undoing was at some point I had turned my camera on, and it probably took me a good 10 minutes to turn it off. But I'm glad to be back, and you're correct. By leaving and coming back, I restored my volume. So I apologize for my lack of technical skills, but I'm here now.
All right, you're good. You're good. Okay, Field. So we've got a couple of questions. Grace wanted to ask you a question, but she asked me since you were gone, and I answered it. But I would love to get your take on it as well for Grace. So we know Robert F. Kennedy annihilated the Senate the other day, basically calling out all these people that got paid to play in this evil agenda, the money that they received from Big Pharma. Trump had posted a couple of days prior to that on Truth, basically demanding the truth about these jabs. Some people say they're good, some people don't agree with that. They say they're horrible. He basically wanted the information. And then he had Zuckerberg and Bill Gates sitting in between next to he and Melania at a dinner, and people were freaking out about it. And what I told Grace and what I've told many people in other chats or whatever is that basically this is the art of war. Trump has to be neutral. What it shows to me by his post, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. doing what he did, and then that dinner, he's basically showing to the public who is in charge. Trump has it all. He's caught them all, and he's basically showing that these guys are done. There. So what is your opinion on all that?
I think you're absolutely right. And that's the track record of Donald John Trump. He exposes the bad people and he walks them into a trap from which they can't return. And a lot of these people that he targets, well, let's talk about all of the people. All the people he targets are guilty of something. Most of the people he targets are not the lower end of the food chain. They're at the decision level. And Trump and his mechanism and the people that are loyal to him will defeat the bad people. And keep in mind that that's coming from my mouth, Field Mcconnell, and I helped accelerate the removal by death of George H.W. Bush, John McCain, my own sister, and Hillary Clinton. So it's not that I'm anti-lesbians, like my sister and Hillary Clinton. It's not like I'm anti-Democrats. Both John McCain and George H.W. Bush claimed that they were Republicans. Well, the truth is they were traitors, and they got what they deserved, just like my sister did. And Trump's not going to give in. He's going to continue until the House is cleaned out. Now, I don't mean the Congress. That was an expression, like house cleaning, or maybe the garage needs to be cleaned, or go wash your car. Trump's on a roll, and RFK is on a roll, and they're high rollers. And I'm not talking about Las Vegas. I'm talking about people with authority based on their position that can cause improvements in the day-to-day life of the American people. And then in turn, when Donald Trump is no longer the president of the US and it's taken over by who I think is going to be John F. Kennedy Jr., then Trump can have a higher position in the global leadership. And I think that's what's going to happen. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm not under the influence of anything other than good judgment so far.
Thank you, Field. I appreciate it. All right, I've got some hands that have requested. I'm going to call on those hands. Let's see. We've got Tammy. Miss Tammy, go ahead. Your mic is unmuted.
Yeah, well, I was raising my hand when you said, can anybody hear me? But I do have a question. I think on the Real Raw News, and I was reading the articles there, and one of them just happened to say that the White Hats were concerned that President Trump had been replaced by a double.
Well,
Is
for
that
me,
a question for? Go ahead, Jenny.
sorry, Field. Well, for me, I don't get into all of that stuff, who's who, and all that kind of stuff, because at some point we're all going to find out, right? There's just so much other stuff to be mainly focused on. So for me to give you a good opinion on that, I just kind of stay out of that lane. But Field, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think he's been replaced by a double. There are people in this world that can't be replaced by anyone else because they're so uniquely qualified and skilled for what they're engaged in for the welfare of not only the American population, but the global community. So, and also back because I used to be in the military for 26 years, my military understanding is that when I last got a number on the attempts of Trump's life, I think the number was 23. And I don't believe they've gotten him yet. And I would suggest we all watch for video of Donald Trump and Melania together, because Melania would know who she's standing next to. And I believe that she would give us signals with her behavior that the guy standing beside her is not her husband. That's just an idea. That's not a fact. No, I don't believe Donald Trump has been replaced. They could hire people to act like him on occasion, but in order to take him out so he needs to be replaced, I don't think it's going to happen. The military is very good at their job. And we're going back now to Vietnam War. The military hasn't always been good at their job, and they haven't always had good leaders. They have good leaders now. And as recently as when, I think the guy's name, and I'm going to have to check it, there was a chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff a couple of Joint Chiefs ago whose name was Martin Dempsey, I think. But he was not a good leader. There were others in his generation of supposed military leadership that were trying to destroy the military from the inside out. And well, if those people want to try to destroy the United States military, I'd invite them up to Plum City and come to Molly's restaurant at about 4 p.m. any day other than Monday, and they could probably find me waltzing in. I might be wearing a Trump hat. I might be wearing overalls, but I'd be certainly wearing a smile, because the people trying to destroy America are novices. They can't even destroy blemishes on their own face. So I think America is in very good hands now. The current leader of the Department of Treasury is the former Commandant of the Marine Corps, Joseph Dunford, and he cannot be compromised. And just like Donald Trump, and dare I say myself, okay, I dare say it, if you want to compromise Donald Trump or Joseph Dunford, the Secretary of the Treasury, or me, you're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. And with all the electronic surveillance, you're going to be implicated, arrested, and executed. So if you don't value your life, or you don't value your family or your spouse, regardless of whether his or her orientation is different from yours, well, if you want to throw all that away so you get a moment of fame when your picture is on the milk carton, go ahead and do it. But why don't you just turn to Jesus Christ and fit into his world, because it is his world, and he's not going to surrender his world to a bunch of creeps. And I'll stop there before I get agitated and say a word stronger than creeps. But I've been doing I've been doing whistleblowing back to noon on September 11th. That's when I started doing this. And so it's 24 years ago that I started telling the truth. And it's a little bit frustrating to me that the truth is not embraced yet, but I said it's a little bit frustrating. It's getting easier every day to recognize the incompetence of the people I deal against. And they're going to fall one by one. And then if there's any smart ones left on that team, they will jump ship and come over to join Trump and the White Hats and Christians and other people that can think clearly. So that's my short comment. Stronger message to follow. Over to you, Jenny.
Thank you, Field. Okay, I've got a few more hands here. Field typically gives us 90 minutes of his time, and we're coming up on that, so I'm going to call on these hands I've opened. So, Lori Vaquero, go ahead. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead, Lori. All right. Miss Cal, your mic.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lori.
I didn't know I hit a button. I'm so sorry, Jenny. I
Oh,
didn't
no,
have a
no.
question, but I
Oh,
love
you're
your show.
good.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Did you get your
Okay.
books? Did you get your
Yes, I
books?
got them. Love them.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
You're welcome. All right, Miss Cal, go ahead. Your mic is unmuted.
Good morning. I just want to say I'm reading your books. I'm amazed and understand now why you're such a national treasure. But I live in Orange County near Tustin Marine Base, and I can relate to a lot of what you're telling us through these books because I am of your age. And boy, I would encourage anybody to read these books because I think everybody needs to know this. My question to you is, with you having such a valuable role in rescuing children, do you know anything about how many kids or why it was never reported anywhere that Disneyland was trafficking children? Because I've lived in Orange County my whole life, and then never once did I ever hear that a child ever went missing from Disneyland, which is hard to believe the amount of kids that go through Disneyland. Thank you.
Well, my guess, and this is a knee-jerk reaction, some people in America don't know the difference between Disneyland and Disney World, but the trafficked children were coming out of the Florida Disneyland in a subterranean railway, and they were going to a privately owned submarine base on the coast of Florida, about maybe 70 miles away. And there were two privately owned submarines that were berthed at that submarine base. One of them was owned by Joe Biden, and the other one might have been owned by, not might have been, was owned by Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. And Ghislaine Maxwell, it's my understanding, was the captain of Epstein's submarine, and whoever was dumb enough to be the captain of Biden's submarine, so he could sneak in and out of Florida en route to Water Island, which was a short distance from Epstein's pervert center on Little St. Anthony or whatever it was called. But I think there's room for error when some people are making strong statements, but they don't know which Disney outlet they're talking about. And they might say Disney World when they mean Disneyland, or they might say Disneyland when they mean Disney World. But Disney is certainly guilty, at least in the Florida operation. And I've had 4 kids. They're all adults now. I'm expecting my 10th grandchild. And I would never think of participating in helping any of my children or grandchildren go to a Disney property, because I think they're lifetime pedophile-friendly entertainers and nothing more than that. Does that help you try to understand the gravity of what you're dealing with and what you're trying to understand?
Yes, it does. And I understand very much so. And I thank you for your answer because it did clear it up.
Okay. Well, you're
Thank you,
very
Cal.
welcome. And thank you very much, ma'am. Sorry I missed your name. Over to you, Jenny.
Yeah, thank you, Cal. It was Cal Field. Thank you, Cal. And I'm glad you're enjoying those books. They are a national treasure. Trust me, I love mine. I can't wait for the next one, Field. You got some homework to do. All right. Dawn, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Oh, I agree with him, but I think it's both the Disney World and Disneyland was doing that. But what's your thoughts on what's going to happen on September the 11th?
Well, I would ask Donald Trump to please answer that question with actions and not words. And if he's going to use words, I would suggest he use the words late in the afternoon or evening of September 10th and then show, he has an expression that I'm not going to offend some of the listeners with, FAFO. But I think on the morning of 9/11, Donald Trump himself, not a body double, not a replacement, might take some not directive, that's not even a word, take some very direct measures to explain to the world what 9/11 was all about. And I explained it to the internet at noon Central on the 11th of September of 2001, because I recognized the technology used. And I also, and I'm not trying to act like a hero. In fact, I'm a recovering sinner. I didn't become a Christian until the 1st of February of 1994. But once God himself, or Jesus himself, knocked on my door and knocked on my heart, I completely changed gears. And I've been working for God and the truth and Jesus and the Holy Spirit ever since. And some people might want to argue that. Well, I'm not a good guy to argue with unless you really like losing arguments. I'm not combative. I'm just well informed, and my information has come by a life that's been lived in a series of different occupations and educational institutions. And I was not a good high school student, but yet I went to Barack Obama's high school, Punahou School in Honolulu, Hawaii, the address of which is 1601 Punahou Drive. But see, Barack Hussein Obama doesn't exist, never existed. His name was Barry Soetoro, Soetoro. He was born at Peace Arch Hospital in British Columbia. And I always have a hard time remembering the town or the village that Peace Arch Hospital is in. But I think one of the two words in the title of the city is sand. But if anybody wants to Google Peace Arch Hospital in British Columbia, the name of the town will show up. And I know that because I've done that Google search myself. And I'm not plugging Google. I'd be more than happy to plug people that are trafficking children, but I can do it with my keyboard. I don't even need to go up and look through my closet and find my 357. And I could only plug 5 people with that because I always have one empty chamber so I don't have an accident shoot myself. That's sort of a convoluted answer, but I hope that might help you. And that's what JENNI's all about, helping people learn what's true and what's false. Over to you.
Thank you, Field. Thank you, Don. Did that answer your question, Don?
Well, I already have assumed that but I hear Trump's going to say something on the 11th or do something. We're going to see maybe one big thing starting to happen, which we all know this has got to kick off here pretty soon.
Well, Juan did say that this is supposed to be a big week, so whatever that means, I'm trying to get him on for Friday, so hopefully he might be able to elaborate a little bit more on that one. So let's see what happens, everybody. I think we're coming into the bumpy ride, so brace yourselves, everybody. Thank you, Don, for your question. Appreciate it. All right, Miss Tara, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
JENNI, I'm sorry. I was just trying to let you know that we could hear you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate
Yes.
it.
And I love Phil. You're awesome. I love how candid you are with us, and I enjoy listening to you. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And that means so much that I'm starting to cry now. But as many of JENNI's listeners know, I cry real easy. And the quickest way to get me to cry is ask me a question about my recently deceased wife, Denise Irene Clark, because she may be in heaven and I might be in Wisconsin, but according to my wedding vows and hers, we are still man and wife, even though we're separated temporarily. I'll see her again. And I thank you for your kind comments. And I would direct all the kind comments to Jenny for assembling this group. And if anybody wants to leave unkind comments for me, I can handle that because I live my life the way I see it. And I know what God wants me to do. And I'm doing what God wants me to do. He wants me to expose evil, as it says in Ephesians 5:11, and in Psalm 94:16. He was looking down on Sodom and Gomorrah, and he said to himself, "Who on earth will take on these evildoers for me?" And I read that about 5 times all by myself in my house. And I was moved to think that God had inspired that Psalm 94:16 with the hopes that I'd read it and take up his banner. And, I am taking up the banner for God, for Jesus, for the Holy Spirit, for the common people of the United States of America, North America, and the entire world. And Donald Trump and the deity, God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, they're not going to be defeated. And somebody like me can be defeated quickly. I live alone on 100 acres. Any sniper worth his salt could walk right up to the room I'm in every day during broad daylight. Or if they wanted to be sneaky, they could come at night with some night vision goggles and send me to heaven. And on my way out, I would say, "Thank you. I'll be with my wife in 2 minutes." And so thank you for your question. Thank you for following Jenny, and you will never hear falsehoods on Jenny's channel. And if I ever hear any falsehoods, you'll notice that I'm gone the next week because I like the truth. I love God, and I happen to love Jenny, and I've never met her. But Jenny, 107's been in my house, and I'm sitting in 107's chair right now. But if you and 107 and Jenny Mack ever wanted to have a little private audience, we could broadcast your show from my office. And I'm talking to you on my cell phone, but I've got a PC that is hooked up to the internet, and the internet here is pretty reliable, except during electrical storms. But then, where is the internet safe from electrical storms? I don't know. I'm not good at technology. Jenny, over to you.
Thank you, Fields. Appreciate that. All right, Thomas Chavez, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Go ahead, Thomas. I don't know if you had a question or if maybe you're just raising your hand, letting me know that you can hear me. All right, Norma Reynolds, go ahead. Your mic is unmuted.
Thank you. And I just want to say that we do appreciate you very much. I would like to get some clarity on something that I think I heard you say. I thought I heard you say that Joseph Dunford, who was formerly the chair of the Joint Chiefs, is the Secretary of the Treasury. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes, you did. Do you know where the Treasury is located now?
The last I heard was Reno on a private, I guess you say private, let's just say a reservation.
Yeah, it's called Reno Sparks Indian Community.
Okay.
And do you know why Dunford moved the Treasury to a reservation? There's a very simple reason, but it may not have occurred to you. And it certainly wouldn't have occurred to more than 10% of Jenny's listening public. So let's educate people right now. Do you know why he wanted to put the Treasury on Indian property?
Yes, because it's sovereign, I guess you could say. There's some kind of word like that.
No,
That
that's exactly the right word.
okay.
It
All
is
right.
sovereign. It's Indian land, and the federal government, whether you are talking about the constitutional republic that we are in now, or previously from 1871 until January or February of 2025, we were part of the corporation of the United States of America. But Donald Trump is on both sides. Meaning that he was first sworn in as president in 2017. More recently, he was sworn in 2021. And Donald Trump is a wise, wise man. And he knew by suggesting to the Treasury Department to shut down Washington, D.C. and move to an Indian reservation, that it would enhance their power. And it certainly has. So, anyway, I'm very proud of you, young lady, for knowing that the key word there is sovereign. The Indian communities are sovereign nations in and of themselves with no legislative or legal obligations to the United States of America Corporation, which died when Biden did. Over to you.
Thank you, Field. Did that answer your question, Norma?
Yes, yes,
All
it
right.
did. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Field, I got two more questions for you, one here on the wall and then one on the right here with the hand. So Debbie Lou asks, a lot of truth coming out about 9/11 online. Do you think we're finally all going to learn the truth? Please, people deserve the truth. Thank you and God bless. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts I've expressed even on this show before I got bounced by technology, but the truth of 9/11 will come out, and I believe that we might make some progress in that nature on September 11th, because I have great confidence in Donald Trump, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm politically aligned with one party or the other. I distrust them both. But when I see some natural leader like Donald John Trump, I'm inspired by what finally has befallen the United States of America. And what has befallen the United States of America is truth, responsible leadership, and a very bright future. And as far as I normally give them 30 or 40 minutes or whatever it is, if you want to stay on a little longer, I can certainly accommodate that. And if you want to go when you want to go, then I can certainly say goodbye too, Jenny. Over to you.
Well, I would normally say yes, but I have John Baxter coming on here, so I got to prepare for that one. But we'll reconnect for a show on Monday. But I've got one more question for you here from Elle. So, Elle, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, thanks very much. I just wanted to add that the hospital, Peace Arch Hospital, in which Barry Soetoro was born, it's located in White Rock, British Columbia. And that's
Okay.
all I wanted
Yeah.
to add.
You're right. It's White Rock, British Columbia. And just to show you that my mind is not as powerful as I used to think it was, I always thought one of the two words, I knew it was two words, but I thought one of them was sand. I was close. Sand and rock both have four letters, but I was also inaccurate. And that gives me the opportunity to say, I don't think Jenny JERREAD is going to knowingly put inaccurate speakers on her show, her podcast. I
No.
think go ahead.
No, she wouldn't.
No, I know it. And that's why I always separate between opinions or facts. And I try to keep my opinions to myself. But I'm having a hard time doing that right now because I'm elated to think that maybe after, in my case, 24 years of being a whistleblower, specifically on 9/11, maybe I can go into retirement smiling right before the EMTs come and put me on a defibrillator and then say, oops, we lost him. Okay, let's go to lunch. And or whatever they might do. But, it's been my pleasure to try to be a conduit of information from what the reality of 9/11 was and the American people who so deserve to hear the truth. And I think that, well, I don't think, I know. I know that I've said on Jenny's podcast numerous times that I can travel anywhere in the world and take on anybody that thinks they know a lot about 9/11, and I can teach them that they don't know as much as they think. But I don't have to rub their face in it. I'm just saying I've been doing this full time for 24 years, and my background was such that, I was a airline pilot for 31 years, and I was a military air defense interceptor pilot in F-4s and F-16s for 16 years of my 26 years in the military. And so I know both sides of 9/11's flying events, and I think that I'm fairly articulate. I know I don't have to prepare for shows, and I know that Jenny does have to prepare for a show with Mr. Baxter. So I'll say thank you for the question. Thank you for telling me it's White Rock, British Columbia, and you're absolutely right. And once again, maybe what I should do to turn up the heat on whoever Barry Swatero is calling himself this week, probably Mrs. Michael Robinson if he's smart, because he's going to need to distance himself from the past or he's not going to get into eternity. Over to you, Jenny.
Thank you, Field. And everybody, thank you for being here and all your questions. Field will be back with us next Monday, same time, same place. John Baxter will be back here, or will be here in, let's see, at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come back for that one. Then we have Derek Johnson later on tonight, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So come back for those, everybody. They will be all right here on Telegram. And Field, God bless you. And we will speak to you. Well, I'll speak to you before next Monday, but we'll have you back here on the show next Monday.
Okay. And if something comes up on 9/11, I know that 9/11, well, I don't know. I think it's Thursday of this week. But if you need to do something spontaneously, you can count on me because, I'm old and unemployed, which means I'm off every day except for Mondays from noon to 1:30. And otherwise, my time is your time, Jenny.
I appreciate that, Field, and yes, I will keep in contact with you here on the backside of this, see what we see, because again, Juan says this is going to be a big week, whatever that means. Let's pay attention, everybody. I say brace yourselves. Get ready. Everything that we have been preparing for this mental boot camp, everybody, it's here. So God bless you all. Stay out of the noise. Stay out of the fear. That's what it is. Stick and stay with the 3 to 5 people, because I'm telling you, these people are trying to make you miss the greatest time to be alive. So God bless you all. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Phil. Love you. We'll talk to you soon.
God bless you, Jenny. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.